You feel it, don't you? That quiet sense that something in you is dimmer than it used to be. Not gone, just muted. You wake up tired even after sleeping. You push yourself, discipline yourself, optimize yourself, and still feel strangely hollow. And at some point you start believing the most dangerous lie of all, that you are weak. But what if that's not true? What if you were never weak, only disconnected? What if your exhaustion isn't a lack of energy, but a loss of alignment? Stay with me. This will be uncomfortable, but honest. Most people think power is something you generate. More effort, more control, more force. But history tells a different story. In ancient Greece, Plato believed the soul already possessed truth. Education wasn't about filling the mind, but remembering. He compared it to turning the head toward the light, not creating the light itself. Yet today, we do the opposite. We grind, we strain, we squeeze ourselves dry trying to produce what can only be received. And then we wonder why we feel empty. Think of a radio. A radio doesn't create music. It doesn't invent voices. It simply tunes into a frequency that already exists. If the signal is lost, the radio doesn't scream louder. It doesn't blame itself. It adjusts. But you were never taught this. Instead, you were taught to push through, to dominate your weakness, to overpower your limits. And in doing so, you slowly disconnected from the very source that sustained you. Nietzsche warned about this long ago. He spoke of modern man becoming over-civilized, detached from instinct, intuition, and inner rhythm, strong on the outside, fractured on the inside. We call it progress. But often, it's just disconnection wearing a suit. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Most of your exhaustion isn't physical. It's existential. You are leaking energy through constant resistance, resisting silence, resisting boredom, resisting uncertainty, resisting yourself. Every notification pulls you outward. Every comparison fractures your attention. Every unmet expectation quietly drains you. And over time, you forget what it feels like to be plugged in. Psychologist Carl Jung believed neurosis was often the result of a life not lived in accordance with one's inner nature. In other words, when who you are and how you live drift too far apart, something inside begins to revolt. That revolt feels like anxiety, like numbness, like fatigue without cause. There's a story about Diogenes, the ancient cynic philosopher who lived in a barrel and owned almost nothing. When Alexander the Great visited him and offered to grant any wish, Diogenes replied, "Stand out of my sunlight." It sounds arrogant until you understand it. Diogenes wasn't rejecting power. He was protecting his connection. He knew something we've forgotten. Power that comes from alignment needs very little effort. Here's the twist no one prepares you for. The more desperately you chase power, the further you move from it. Because real power isn't aggressive. It's grounded. It doesn't scream. It resonates. Bonhoeffer, writing from a Nazi prison, observed that true strength often looks like quiet resistance, the ability to remain inwardly free while externally constrained. Not dominance, not force, but coherence, and coherence is rare. Most people are fragmented, pulled in 1,000 directions, living on borrowed desires. No wonder they feel weak. Ask yourself this, honestly, When was the last time you sat in silence without reaching for distraction? When was the last time you acted without seeking validation? When was the last time you trusted your intuition without demanding proof? Every time you ignore that inner signal, the connection weakens, not because the source disappears, but because you stop listening. Modern psychology now echoes what ancient philosophy always knew. Attention is energy. Where your attention goes, your life follows. If your attention is constantly hijacked, fractured, and commodified, your power will feel scattered. Not because you lack it, but because it's being siphoned away. And the cruel irony? The world profits from your disconnection. An anxious person consumes more. A distracted person obeys more easily. A disconnected person doubts themselves. Machiavelli understood this dynamic in politics. Control the environment, and you don't need to control the individual, but the same is true internally. Control your inner environment, and everything changes. Reconnection doesn't require a dramatic transformation. It requires subtraction, less noise, less comparison, less self-betrayal. It begins the moment you stop asking, how do I get more power? And start asking, what am I doing that blocks it? Because power doesn't arrive when you conquer yourself. It arrives when you stop fighting who you are. Here's the final truth, and it may sting. You don't need to become someone new. You need to return to stillness. Return to presence. Return to the frequency you abandoned in the name of survival. The source was never lost, only ignored. And the moment you remember how to listen, you'll realize something quietly terrifying and beautiful. You were never weak. You were just disconnected. And reconnection changes everything.